Sammy.
After the underrated gem that was Final Destination 5 back in 2011, the series lay dormant as we awaited a new entry. And man, we were blessed when Bloodlines dropped in 2025. Final Destination Bloodlines has a solid case for being called one of the best films of the series. From one of the best opening premonition scenes in the series, solid performances, and more importantly, memorable kills, Bloodlines is a good return to form for the series and has me excited to see what will come next in the Final Destination series.
Sammy.
If you're a listener of the M&K Productions podcast, we've followed Baron's Cove since its initial production news in 2023, and we were lucky enough to sit down with director Evan Ari Kelman and discuss it further. Baron's Cove is a solid directorial debut from Kelman. It manages to capture the viewer's attention with the thriller elements it has in it. Add in some strong performances from Garrett Hedlund and the supporting cast, and some top-notch cinematography, Baron's Cove managed to be an under-the-radar gem in 2025.
Sammy.
Spoiler, this isn't the only Jack Quaid film on the list. Novocaine is a fun action film. It's the premise of a mild-mannered guy who can't feel pain. It puts him in an action setting to save a girl he has feelings for. What more can you ask for? Once the bank robbery in the film kicks off, the film hits second and third gear and has some really fun action set pieces. And Jack Quaid really killed it in this role. Not gonna lie, his final outfit of the film and just the way he was moving in this film, even with him being a mild-mannered introvert, it had me thinking, if we were doing another attempt at a live-action Max Payne, either film or TV show, I think we found our guy.
Sammy.
It's fantastic that we finally got a successful Fantastic Four film in theaters. First Steps had a lot to live up to, not only breaking the mold for being a good adaptation of the Marvel's First Family, but being one of the last films in the lead up to Doomsday to build hype. And did it? Yeah, sort of. The 1960s futuristic setting really helps give the film an identity. It feels like it's ripped straight from the comic book. The cast earned good performances that give their characters justice, and I love the villain as the Silver Surfer, and seeing Galactus done right in the theaters really made me bring a tear to my eye. First Steps does a good job in setting up the team for the long-term future in the MCU.
Sammy.
When it comes to the surprise films of 2025, The Long Walk is probably one of the biggest ones of the year. When it comes to Stephen King adaptations, it's always hit or miss. Luckily, it was a hit with The Long Walk. While the story was solid and kept the audience's attention, and the writing was strong and had a good balance of tension, drama, and comedy, the main strength of The Long Walk is the cast. The chemistry between the characters is believable and adds to the film's heart and tragedy. While Cooper Hoffman pulls in a great performance as Ray Garrity, David Johnson from Alien and Romulus as Pete steals and carries the film throughout. And honestly, I would watch this over and over again. One of the better Stephen King adaptations we've gotten in 2025.
Sammy.
When the first trailer dropped for Companion, I was both intrigued and skeptical. It looked like a film that had a good idea, but the execution could be a dud. Man, was I fucking wrong. Companion is a nice blend of sci-fi, thriller, and dark humor. Sophie Thatcher and Jack Quaid have great chemistry and both in some great performances. But the one element of the film that surprisingly holds the film together is its humor. And the humor is a perfect blend of dark and lighthearted comedy, with neither overlapping the other. And it's a surprising amount of heart to it a little bit. Granted, it is still a little bit of a sci-fi thriller, dark comedy, but there's a blend of heart and kind of like feelings that make you feel for some of the characters. The perfect blend, I'd say.
Sammy.
The shot in the arm that DC needed. James Gunn reboot of the DC EU, whatever we're calling it nowadays, was all reliant on Superman being a success. And successful it was. Superman is a superhero film with all the heart and charm like the ones we grew up with as a kid. From the story to the action, Superman manages to capture the charm of the original Christopher Reeves films. But what makes Superman a good film would be the cast. While David Cornsweet and Rachel Bronson are good as Superman and Lois Lane respectively, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor is a top-tier comic book villain performance. He showed us that we're not hating to our fullest potential, and it makes me excited to see how these characters will evolve as we go more into James Gunn's DC universe.
Sammy.
I'm realizing my top 3 are all horror movies, so congratulations, horror movies, you won this year. But yeah, bring her back. Danny and Michael Filippo's sophomore project after the success of their debut film, Talk to Me. Bring Her Back is a strong second outing from the two, a horror film that has a lot of weight to it, and a lot of that weight comes to the performance of Sally Hawkins. If the Academy recognized horror acting with their awards, I will tell you that she would be nominated and have a chance to win this year. She brings emotion and intensity to the role, and it worked hand in hand with the rest of the cast in their performances. And granted, too, while this is classified as a horror movie, it still has moments where the horror feels built up with pacing and great camera work. It's not just jump scare after jump scare after jump scare.
Sammy.
Now we know why Jordan Peele fired his managers after losing the bid for Weapons, because Zach Krieger absolutely killed it. From the initial marketing with the footage of the kids running off into the night via security cameras, you just knew that you had to get your ass in theaters to see what was going on, and we were not disappointed. The pacing was solid with the film, thanks to this non-linear narrative really helping giving the film a sense of unease and mystery. But one of the strongest elements of Weapons would be the cast. Knowing that this cast pretty much had to get either recast or pretty much shuffled around, it's still impressive that this cast was able to pull in a great performance. You know, Julia Garner, Josh Brolin, of course, Amy Madigan, everyone's favorite Aunt Gladys, absolutely nail their roles, and the supporting cast does a great job as well, too. And surprisingly, the amount of humor that is sprinkled into the film helps give Weapons some levity with both dark and lighthearted humor. The ending is absolutely hilarious, especially the context of it. If you've seen the ending of Weapons, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Sammy.
Yep, once I left the theater, I knew that Sinners was my favorite film of the year. Sinners is an experience that can't be replicated, and I'm so glad I was able to see this twice in IMAX. The performances, the score, the visuals, costume design, cinematography, and so on, and so on. I can't really add anything else to Sinners that you already know. If you've seen it, you know this is like one of the best films of the year, if not the best. I can probably compete with like Marty Supreme, that's really creeping up on a lot of people's lists. But for me, Sinners is still my favorite film of the year. And when talking about award seasons, look out for Sinners to not clean up, but at least get some serious consideration with some awards from its performances, score, wardrobe, and set pieces.
Sammy.
So this has been my top 10 best films of 2025. Let me know down in the comments below. What were some of your favorite films of the year? What films made the list that you were surprised about? Until next time, I've been Mac from Mac Movie Reviews, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.
Hey, if you like this video, make sure you check out one of my other reviews on my channel, and stay tuned for the next one.